Hi, this is Dale Brown from Dale Brown and Truth, and you're listening to You Me Radio. Positive entertainment 24/7.
Got some praises.
God, you made man in your own image, and Adam knew Eve, and Lord, they connected. They knew each other. They knew each other parts of their body.
It's You Me Radio, touching your airwaves like something you've never heard before.
You Me Radio.
Walking in your favor and your glory, taking back all my territory. The hand of God is on before me. Closed doors are open for me. Walking in your favor and your glory, taking back all my territory. The hand of God is on before me. Closed doors are open for me. Now is the time. Now is the hour to get up, stand up, and step into what God has for you. I won't let this moment slip through my fingers. I'll take a hold of the promise He has for me. In your favor and your glory, I'm walking. God is on before me. Closed doors are closed, doors are open. In your favor and your glory, I'm walking, taking it back. God is on before me. Closed doors are open for me.
Hit music right now on You Me Radio. Yeah.
Walking in your favor and your glory, taking back all my territory. The hand of God is on before me. Closed doors are open for me. Walking in your favor and your glory, taking back all my territory. The hand of God is on before me. Closed doors are open for me. Now is the time. Now is the hour to get up, stand up, and step into what God has for you. I won't let this moment slip through my fingers. I'll take a hold of the promise He has for me. In your favor and your glory, I'm walking. God is on before me. Closed doors are closed, doors are open. In your favor and your glory, I'm walking, taking it back. God is on before me. Closed doors are open for me. There's a shift. God has changed the atmosphere, and above my head, I hear music in the air, and I embrace your move, Lord. Your words are true, Lord. The promise you gave to me will never fail. In your favor and your glory, taking back all my territory. I'm walking. Those doors are open for me. Yeah. Walking in your favor and your glory. Step by step, day by day. God is on before me. Those doors are open for me. Now is the walking in your favor and your glory, taking back all my territory. Nothing can stop me now, no, no, no. Cause I'm next in line. Favor is on my line. Those doors are open, open. Thank you, Jesus. I can see brand new day. Sun is shining. The birds are singing. It's your time, your season. I'm walking. I'm stepping. Nothing can hold me down. Do what you wanna do, Jesus, Jesus, Jesus.
True celebration.
Yeah, we gonna have a celebration.
Hi, this is Dale Brown from Dale Brown and Truth, and you're listening to You Me Radio. Positive entertainment 24/7.
Let's give God some praises.
God, you made man in your own image, and Adam knew Eve, and Lord, they connected. They knew each other. They knew each other parts of their bodies. God, we thank you for our bodies. We thank you that we are sexual beings. We thank you that we are able to make love to the one that you have given us. Lord, as we explore each other, as we express our love for each other, by touching the body parts that we are grateful for. And God, we thank you for the female breast. Thank you for the female vagina. Thank you for the erogenous zones. We thank you for the pulses on our bodies that allow us to have pleasure. We thank you, God, for our urethra. We thank you, God, for the clitoris, that we can have sensation to satisfy the man you put into our lives. We thank you for the ovaries. Thank you for the fallopian tubes. Thank you for the outer lips of the vagina, God. Thank you for the delirium. Thank you for this, our bodies to have pleasure, Jesus. We thank you, Lord, for our eyes. Thank you for our lips. Thank you for our tongue that you gave us, Father. We thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord, for all our female organs. We thank you, Jesus, that we can make pleasure our husbands, pleasure our wives, that you placed into our lives. We thank you for the male organs, God. We thank you for the penis, Father. We thank you, you allow a sensation. Thank you for an erection that he's able to pleasure his wife, Jesus. We thank you for the scrotum. Thank you for the vascular Thank you for the prostate gland. Thank you for the embryonic sac. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you for how you made us. We thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. And we'll embrace each other. Embrace each other with our love. As we make love to each other, make love to each other in love. As we explore each other in love. As we take time for each other, take time for each other in love. And we bless you, Lord. When we make love, we thank you, Lord. When we make love to each other, we thank you, Lord. Just thank you for blessing our body parts, Jesus. Thank you, Lord, for giving us the feeling to love each other deep and connect to each other as often as we should. We thank you, we praise your name, we glorify you, we bless your name. We'll not be ashamed of our bodies, Lord. Not be ashamed to explore each other, Lord. Not be ashamed to use our tongues to explore our men's bodies. We'll not be ashamed to use what you gave us, Lord. We'll embrace every part of it, God. We thank you. We thank you. We thank you. We thank you. You said it's a good thing to give thanks. Thank you for the ability to make love to each other. We thank you. We thank you, Lord. We thank you. We thank you, Lord. You alone are worthy, Lord. We appreciate you and we thank you, Lord.
It's You Me Radio, touching your airwaves like something you've never heard before.
You Me Radio. Try to express on paper
Ever since I met you, my boo, happiness blues in red from violet blue. Never felt so loved. This could only come from above. Maybe it can last for the summer and fall, for the winter and springtime, for a lifetime that's ours. If I live, baby, let it be to love you. If I die, let it be in your arms. You set my soul on fire as you pull me closer and closer. Lover of my dreams is now a reality. Never felt so loved. This could only come from above. Baby, it can last for the summer and fall, for the winter, springtime, nighttime that's ours. If I live, baby, let it be to love you. If I die, let it be in your arms. When all the surpassed, you saw royalty. When all the saw failure, you saw purpose in me. You felt my heart and touched my soul like none have done before. Let it be to love you, yeah. Your arms, yeah.
Positive entertainment 24/7. Subscribe.
Let's talk
Relationships on
on
You
You
Me
Me
Radio.
Radio. So, what are we talking about?
Marriage, dating, parenting, business.
And love, emotions, sex.
It's a conversation with me, Lady Misty,
And DJ KTE.
on everything from hot topics to taboos.
Join us Mondays at 9 p.m. live on UME Radio.
Follow us at Let's Talk Relationship Show on Facebook or on Yumi Radio on Instagram. Let's talk relationships, arguments for the grown.
Get the UME Radio app to listen wherever you are. That is UME Radio. One word.
UME Radio. Positive entertainment 24/7. Subscribe on YouTube and click the notification bell.
Hey, 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 good night, everyone. Good night, LTR family. You're listening to Yumi Radio, and this is your favorite program on a Monday night. Let's talk relationships. How y'all doing? Did you miss us last week? I know I sure did. This is my safe space on a Monday night. And so I am happy that you are here with me tonight. My co host will join us in just a minute, but in the meantime, I want to say shout out to you, big ups to you. I trust that you had a lovely weekend. Let me apologize from now for my background. If you hear a little bit of noise, my neighbors are feeling a little bit festive, so they're playing some music. So let me apologize if there are any outbursts. I apologize on their behalf. However, I trust that you had a good weekend. For all the mothers out there, happy belated Mother's Day. I trust that you had a wonderful day yesterday and you were treated and you were feted as the queen mother you are. All right. Welcome, welcome, welcome to our show tonight. Of course, as usual, we have a very engaging, conversational, exciting topic tonight. And tonight we're going to be discussing shack or sign. Is marriage overrated? So we are going to be talking about uh, shacking up, as we call it, uh, and marriage versus marriage. Is shacking up better? Is marriage better? Is marriage overrated? All that. Also tonight we have Lady Lauren Carter. You know, we speak to her every week or every other week. She'll be coming to talk to us in our spotlight segment, and of course we have amazing guests tonight just waiting to engage us in this kind of conversation. They're here to bring their experience to the table and share with us their insights and hopefully drop some gems. You know how we do over here. We want to say thank you so much to our sponsors, our partners, our listeners for your continued support. We learned so much from you last year, and this year we want to ensure that we are connecting and we're engaging, and we are here supporting you. So please, if you have any questions, if you have any comments, if you need advice, please feel free to reach out to us. You can email us at ltranswers@gmail.com. That's ltranswers@gmail.com. It is our hope that this program is a support to you to help you have strong, amazing, healthy relationships. Cheers to love and happiness. You are listening to Yumi Radio, and I am your girl, Lady Misty. DJ KTE will be joining us in just a short moment. Today is the 10th of May. Can you imagine? We're in the middle of the week already. In the middle of the month, sorry, is the 10th of May 2021, and it is now 9:07 exactly. And in in our time over here, Bogota time is 8:07. And I want to say again, thank you so much for joining us. We are live right now on YouTube. YouTube fam, woohoo! What's going on over there? I hope you are doing great. Let me jump over there to find out what's happening over there on YouTube. I missed you guys last week, and I hope that you miss me too. And I want to say good night. Please feel free, if you're joining us for the first time, welcome to LTR. And of course, drop a line in the comments section and shout out to where you're from, because we want to connect with you. We want to make sure that we are connecting. We are in so many countries, over 60 countries, and we want to know that we are connecting. So give us a shout out and tell us where you are joining us from tonight. Those over there on Facebook, thank you for joining us as well. We are all over the place. We are on YouTube, we are on Facebook, of course, we are on UME Radio, and of course, let me tell you where we are again: Apple Store, Google Play Store, iTunes Podcast, iHeartRadio, Podbean, TuneU, Live 365, Spotify, Stitcher, Player FM, and so many other amazing apps. Please feel free as well to check us out over there on our individual handles at I am Lady Misty or DJ KTE the Entrepreneur, or check out the page at Let's Talk Relationships. Also, you better hop on over there as well at UME Radio. We are over there. We have all those handles over there on Instagram. So please feel free to check us out. Of course, we have deals now. Listen, it is May and the deals are running out. So remember, Google Workplace has the deals for you. All right. So Google Workplace helps our team work faster and more efficiently, from Gmail to Docs to Drive. It's a fully integrated way to work. And listen, you are all online. All right. So I'm online, and this Google Workplace is excellent. All right. It is really, really an integrated place to work. Now, they have a 14-day trial going on. So please sign up using our link on our website to get those discount codes. There is a discount code there for the Workplace Business Starter, and also there is a discount code there as well for the Business Standard. So please, please, please go over there to umeradio.com/deals to check out the special offers that is in store for you. Of course, you get a 10% off the first year on either of the two, whether you're using the Workplace Business Starter Plan or the Google Workplace Business Standard Plan. All right, I said a mouthful, right? Yeah, once again, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Travel Escapades, I see you. Good night, Marsha J. I see you as well. Let me see who else is over there. Coach Raquel. Yes, thank you so much for joining us. All right, for those of you who are in the room over there on YouTube, come on, drop a line. Let me know that you're here keeping my company tonight. All right. So we are going to move right in. We're sliding right into our spotlight segment. And this is where we shed some light. We shed the spotlight on some amazing people of color who are doing some big things in the world. And of course, our spotlight continues to shine on Lauren Carter. She is running in the city of Mount Vernon, and she is running for city council there. She's a city council elect and former deputy city clerk. And she is running, of course, to help move Mount Vernon in the right direction. Lauren believes that a financially stable city is a successful city? Of course, Lauren is a parent, a planner, and a professional who was born and raised in the city of Mount Vernon, New York. She is passionate about moving Mount Vernon forward. It is her purpose to improve the quality of life for all, and she has a plan to get it done. Good night, Lady Lauren. How are you?
I am fine, Misty. How are you? Can you hear me?
I am great. You're looking lovely. Happy belated
Thank
Mother's Day.
Oh,
Yes,
thank
I
you. Thank
can.
you.
Happy
Thank you.
belated Mother's Day. I hope you enjoyed it. How was it for you?
Mother's Day was pretty good. I rested, but I hope you enjoyed your Mother's Day as well.
Well, I'm not a biological mother, but I'm a mother. I'm a mother to a lot of children, so and I rested as well. So thank you so much. I appreciate it. I thank you so much. All right, so let's jump into our conversation tonight. So, first, how has the response been from your constituents on the campaign train so far? How has it been? How is it going?
Hmm. Well, I have to say that the response has been encouraging. The response has been great so far. I have to say that when people
Good.
listen to me and hear what I have to say and why I'm running, they're definitely responsive, they're open, and they agree. So I have
Hmm.
to say the response so far has been really good.
All right. Now, as I was reading your introduction, it says that you believe that a financially stable city is a successful city. What do you mean by that?
Mhm. Well, the city lost its credit rating about 3 years ago because there were some individuals in office who did not handle their responsibilities, and there was no transparency. Therefore, credit agencies such as Moody's and others, they didn't just downgrade us to a
Yes.
poor credit rating, but they downgraded us to no credit rating. And a city cannot be successful if a city doesn't have a credit rating, and if a city doesn't have
Wow.
finances, if a city doesn't have a cash flow, or the cash flow is low, a city can't be prosperous. A city can't be
Yes.
successful because then the city can't do the things it needs to do. For example, we can't bond now to get things that we need. We can't. There are certain investments that the city of Mount Vernon cannot make. So, in order for us to be successful, we have to have a strong financial footing. And that's why I believe that a successful city is a financially stable city. We need to get our finances secured.
Yes, great. And as a part of that too, I love the transparency as well because when it comes down to finances as money, there is a legacy which is not a good one of hiding and we're not sure what is happening. But I'm so happy that you are on that trail to be transparent, and so your city will be successful. Now, I have two open questions for you that I want to ask you. And the first one is, what is your message for International Day of Families and International Day of Peace? I know that your campaign speaks very well about families, and you are trying to ensure that families stay together and work together. So, what is your message for these 2 days?
For the Day of Families, I would say that again, it takes a village to raise a child. That's the African proverb that we're all familiar with. Hillary Clinton, the former
I hope
first
Lady
lady.
Lauren can hear me. I know there's probably a delay.
Yes, can you hear me now? I Yeah, there is a delay. I noticed a delay on when you respond to me. I was saying that we know the African proverb that says that it takes a village to raise a child. I mean, it became known when former First Lady Hillary Clinton wrote a book with that title. So family, definitely, I believe, especially in the Black community, is something that is really, really lacking. Unfortunately, there has been a decline in the family unit in the Black family in the Black neighborhood for quite some time, and we see the effects, the
All
negative
right.
impact.
Lady Lauren, I hope you can hear me. I'm not hearing you very well because wow, I hope you can hear me. I don't know, the internet connection was really bad a while ago. Lady Lauren, can you hear me? Can you hear me better now?
I can hear you, Lady Misty. Can you hear me?
Okay, yes, I can hear you. Yes, I can hear you. I know there's still a little bit of delay, but I can hear you much better now. All right, you were responding to me about International Day of Peace and Day of Families, and I heard you speaking about, it takes a village to raise a family. So you can just finish your statement.
Yes, and there's been a decline in the Black family for the last several decades, wherein the family unit has been broken up for various reasons, and we have seen the impact that that has had on the Black family, the rise in
Yes.
crime, drug addiction, substance abuse, on and on and on, teenage pregnancy. So there has been a negative impact on the Black community in particular because of the decline of the family unit. So certainly I would say that family is important. Children need both parents. I know that I'm a single parent, and I definitely can speak
Yes.
experience that children, boys and girls, they need their moms and they need their dads. So even if the parents are not together, if they're not married, or I encourage all parents to try your best to co-parent because your children need you. They need you to help them to grow emotionally, mentally. They need you, and also so that they can be productive citizens of society, and then also have their own families that they can raise as well.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Wow, I think we lost Lady Lauren again. I'm not
No, we did
hearing
not
her
lose
well.
her.
I'm not sure if
Misty, I think it's your
you
thing
can
that's
hear
off.
me. I
Yes, we
am
can
not
hear
hearing
you.
Lady Lauren at all.
Can you hear me,
Oh,
Lauren?
the connection
Yes,
is
I
so
can, Coach.
poor. I'm
I
not
can.
Okay,
sure.
great. I think Misty is having some internet issues, so I'll conclude the interview with you.
Sure.
So this
Okay.
is Kelly, Coach Raquel. They also call me too. It's such a great interview going on, and we're hearing you clearly, and I'm hearing the message. I just have one final question, and then we'll wrap up. Can you tell us what can we look forward to when I'll say when you win this election, because I believe that you will. From the moment I met you, I know there was something different about you. And so I do believe and I'm confident you're a woman of color, and so you're a woman of power. When you win, what's the first thing that you'll tackle?
Well, Coach Raquel, I have to thank you for all of your support and
You're
your
welcome.
encouragement. Thank you so much, and to you and me, the you and me family. What I want to tackle when I get into office is to be accessible. First of all, I want to remain accessible to all the stakeholders, whoever you are, a resident, a homeowner, a business owner, a not-for-profit, a faith-based institution. I want to remain accessible to all of you. I want to be transparent, and I really want to help the city. What we need to do, we need to tackle our finances. We need to close our books. We need to finish the audits. We need to get our credit rating back so we can be on a strong financial footing so that we can move Mount Vernon in the right direction. Those are some of the things I want to work on, and definitely quality of life. As I said before, I believe it's the very foundation of a good city. We can't have littering and dog feces all over. We have to have a clean city, a beautiful city, a city that we have trees, proper trees that are planted, flowers, community gardens to really beautify in this city.
Awesome. I did say a final question, but I'd love for you to explain what we're seeing on the screen. It says vote 13A, and I think this was recently updated. Can you tell people how to vote for you? Where do they go and when?
Yes, so June 22nd is the day of the primary. And in New York State, primaries are closed. So that means that you have to be a registered Democrat to vote in the primary. You have to be a registered Democrat to be on the ballot, and you have to be a registered Democrat to vote. So on that day, anyone in Mount Vernon who's a registered Democrat can go to their polling place to vote. The polls will be open from 6 a.m. until 9 p.m. And then in New York, we also have early voting, and that will start on the 12th. It will end on the 20th. And that will be only at City Hall. And the hours are specified, should be on the Westchester County Board of Elections website. But they vary from 12 to 5 on the weekends, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, usually 8 to 4, and Tuesday and Thursday, usually 12 to 8. And if anyone doesn't know their polling place, you want to vote the day of on the 22nd, please go to my website, laurenforcitycouncil.com, send me a message, and I will let you know what your polling place is. If you need a ride to the polls, let us know. And if you're not going to be in the area, whether it's early voting or even the day of, let us know so that we can help you get an absentee ballot so you can cast your vote.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for being here with us. It's been such a pleasure.
Likewise. Thank you, Coach Raquel. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Lady Misty, I'll hand over back to you.
Thank you so much, Coach Raquel. Yes, thank you. Thank you so much. Listen, I have to big up my engineering team and the tech team there in the background. Thank you so much. I don't know what's going on. Listen to me, internet. Behave yourselves. All right. We want to thank Lady Lauren Carter so much for coming to us tonight, another night, and engaging her. Please, guys, please go and vote for her. She's doing an awesome job over there in Mount Vernon. So please go and vote for her. All right. So tonight, we're going straight into our conversation tonight. And of course, if you're just joining us, you're listening to Let's Talk Relationships here on You Me Radio. I am Lady Misty, and tonight we are talking on the topic shock or sign. Is marriage overrated? I want to hear what you think. Is marriage overrated? Should I just go find somebody and live with and, just leave it at that? Or do we still want to walk down the aisle and make that commitment? Is commitment overrated? Is that kind of commitment overrated? I want to hear your views tonight, so please drop your comments in the comment section wherever you are, and let us hear from you. We have some awesome guests coming to join me tonight. But before they do, I want to share some information with you. Now, interestingly, this is such a topic that deserves a conversation, because the trend is out of this world when it comes on to marriages. Hi, DJ KT.
Hey!
You'd have to pause everything and hail you up. Good night. How are you?
Oh my God, it's been crazy, but thank you. Oh Lord, sorry,
All
old fans,
right,
my
good.
listeners. I'm so sorry. Had a really unexpected thing here, but I'm here, and I'll be with you in a minute. Thank you, Miss Lady Misty. Good to see you.
I'm
here.
happy you're here.
Okay.
It's good to see you as well.
Well, me too. I'm glad to be here.
It's
Thank
good
you.
to see you as
Good
well.
to see you as well. Yes.
All right. No, I was sharing the information and just talking to them about uh marriage versus shacking up, and the fact that this is such a conversation that needs to be had.
Uh-huh.
you know I asked them to share with me, and I see Delrose. Hi, good night, Delrose, how are you? And
Hey,
Delrose is saying, no,
how are
it's
you,
not. So
Delrose?
marriage is not overrated. The wedding ceremony is, though. I'm here for that. I believe I'm with you on that one. All right. So tonight, the objective of tonight's show is really advocating for marriage by
Hmm.
exploring premarital cohabitation. Now, cohabitation is the nice word for shacking up. All right. When we
Okay,
were
okay,
growing up, that's what
okay.
they call it. You shack up. Yes. All right. Now I have some
Oh,
information to share. Now, Outlook, a Jamaican magazine here on the island, spoke with 10 women who are in cohabiting unions. And
hmm.
that was an interesting conversation.
Wait, how
Now,
many?
from
10, you
that
said 10.
conversation,
You said 10 a while
it
ago?
was
10?
found that 8 out of the 10 of them,
Okay. Wow.
10, all of 10. So all of these 10 ladies were not married, but they were in cohabitating relationships, right?
Oh boy.
And let's hear the findings. So 8 of the 10 felt that they were lying to themselves. Mm.
Oh. One of
They were
those, huh?
lying to themselves, believing that because they were shacking up with a man who professed love, and that they engage in great sex, that this was a perfect union to cherish for the rest of their lives. So
Oh.
the sex is good, and he says I love you, and he probably
Hmm.
takes me out on a few dates. So
And is going to
this is a
marry you?
relationship that I
Going
can say,
to?
and is going to. Yes. All right. Now, it says here that the decision to shack up may be out of desperation or insecurity or even lack of self-worth. Now, it says generally women women view as shameful other women living with a man who is not willing to make the vow of committing his life to her. Women actually bring more to cohabitation than men do. So women bring more to the table than men do. I don't know.
Mm.
What do you think?
Wow.
More work and effort. They women, and I'm talking about women now. They put in more work and effort to keep the relationship healthy. Now, here's some stats for you. So, cohabitation in the United States has increased by more than 1,500%
Say
in
that
the
again.
last half century.
Say that
That is
again.
crazy. In in 1960, about 450. Listen, it has increased by 1,500%
Wow.
in the past half century. Yes. Now it says in 1960, about 450,000
Mhm.
unmarried couples lived together. Now
Hmm.
the number is more than 7.5 million.
Oh wow! Look at that kind of
Look, listen,
move. Oh my
it,
goodness.
it is a drastic move. Now it says here are a few reasons why couples cite for cohabitation. One, hoping it is a step forward to a proposal. So it's hope, right? So I'm
Mhm.
here. I love this man, and it seems to be going okay. I hope, fingers crossed, that it will lead to something. Two,
Uh-huh.
want to see if they are compatible as roommates. So, there are couples that say, let's try living together to see how it will work out. and then
Mm-hmm.
we think about marriage. But
Yeah.
that's a trap. That is a trap. Okay. All right. And another thing is to save on money or on rent. So those are some
Oh,
pretty
economics, huh? Okay,
interesting
economics.
facts.
Okay, okay, economics. We have that too.
Economics. Yes,
Mm.
yes. So I see travel escapades there on YouTube, and his comment is, if I can get the milk, cookie, and all the loving without paying for a wedding, I'm in. That is
uh,
interesting. Wow.
oh
Wow.
boy.
But why shack up? Why shack up? Why not marriage? Why marriage? Why not shack up? So that is what we'll be talking about tonight. DJ KTE, before I go into
Uh,
introducing our guest, what do you think about it? Shack up
you know what?
or
Oh
sign?
man. You know, the thing is that both of these aspects, sex is involved, right? And we know what sex is all about. So, I mean, as I hear you read those numbers, right? The thing that comes to mind is that time have really changed. We're living in a very, very different time now. Now, if you think about the life's pressures, economically, you think about even a good wedding is very, very can be very costly, and sometimes a lot of pressure on the families. Sometimes, maybe guy want to impress girl, he's not ready, he can't impress girl as yet. Sometimes girl won't impress the guy, can't impress the guy yet. It's a lot of pressure. And then sometimes guys seen dad and uncle's brother done married and had this big bash wedding, and that didn't work out, and around them is not working out. And sometimes it might be the church guy. He said the church, they're getting divorced too. So I'm like, why am I going down the road like that,
True,
risking
true.
all this money, right? And then I'm not even quite sure where it's gonna go. So if I can get, like I think one of the listeners says, man, if I can get the milk and the honey, because sad to say, a lot of people, and especially the black community, seem to get married mainly for the hanky panky, sexy, fun stuff. It's more emotionally based, it seems to me, not the strategic sense of the word, as far as family heritage and economic power empowerment and some kind of legacy. And that's why I find black folks rarely ever make that sacrifice for the for the next generation. They rarely ever get deep into something. I may be poor, but I'm gonna die for my young is what I can get while I'm alive. I tend to see that in the black community more and more so. If I was to kind of focus on the group, but I think if we look at it on a broader perspective, I think that there are some perks in actually shacking up. Some of it is just based on perception. That's not correct. On, say, hope and believe, that's not correct. And sometimes they end up like, wow, this is what I thought or what I expected. And then you have the ones who really, really, really are trying to say, you know what, I'm grown and I'm having these feelings. I want to express myself, and marriage, will take a while to get to that point. And this next best bet, I can be with someone, maybe save some money, and maybe make your life a little easier in this economically depressed era or time that we're living in, and at the same time have hopefully where it goes, and oftentimes it doesn't go where they expect it to go or go where they want it to go. That's my take on that so far. I got more to say, but hold on later on in the show. For now.
But it begs the question though, it begs the question though, as I go into introducing tonight's guests. Are we, and I mean people of color, are we afraid of commitment?
Wow.
Are we
Good question.
afraid of commitment? All right. No?
Or would you say are too many of us afraid of it?
Too many of us. Well, let's talk about it. So tonight, joining us tonight to engage in this conversation, we have a returning guest, Reverend Philbert Wynn. He is the senior pastor of United Lifeline Deliverance Church of God, Brownstown, St. Anne, Jamaica. He's a Christian for 39 years, preaching for 35, married for 29 years. He's a licensed marriage officer, family life counselor, Christian chaplain, a restorative justice facilitator, and a Bible school teacher. He's also a father, and he's also my pastor, so I have to behave myself tonight.
All right.
All right.
All right. Good to have you.
We also have Mr. Fitzgerald Gale. He is a psychologist and a retired inspector of police. See, I tell you, I have to behave myself tonight.
Somebody don't get locked up tonight.
All right. Listen, I'm on my best behavior tonight. All right. Mr. Gale is married to his wife Carlene for over 27 years, and they have two adult children. He is a counseling psychologist, a elder police officer. He's retired after 31 years of service, and he conducts private counseling sessions. He has boys to men coaching, group counseling, and dispute resolution. He is also into public speaking.
All right.
All right.
Okay.
And we have also Apostle Dr. Faith Walters. And she is the founder and CEO of Women and Men of Excellent Outreach Ministries New York, which was a revelation conceived by the Lord to Apostle Walters several years ago. She believes of engaging the lives of many who are abused emotionally, mentally, physically, sexually, financially, and spiritually. Also, many who have difficulties with low self-esteem, confidence, control, insecurities, sexual addiction, and substance abuse. Of course, we have as well Reverend Courtney Morrison. He is the chairman of Men of God Against Violence and Abuse, CEO of Left Wrong Do Right Initiative, father, husband for the past 29 years, and he is the pastor of Fellowship Tabernacle Portmore, Jamaica. So, we have some awesome people joining us tonight.
Well, let me see. Welcome all. Welcome.
I
Good
am
to see
excited
everyone
to
here
talk
tonight.
about this with these gentlemen and lovely lady. So welcome everybody.
Good night, everyone.
Good. If you can hear, let me stick up one finger so I can hear you. If you can hear me, if you can hear us, stick up one finger in the air.
I can hear.
Yes, that's it.
Yes.
Nice.
Great.
Beautiful.
That's right. Good night, everyone. How are you?
I'm fantastic.
Nice.
I am blessed.
Great. All right. I was just telling DJ KTE that I have to be on my P's and Q's because there's an officer in the room, my pastor is in the room, and there's another pastor in the room. So I have to behave myself tonight.
Wow.
All right. I won't give any trouble. I leave all the trouble giving to DJ KTE tonight. I'm gonna behave myself.
And audience, look out, audience. We have a cop in the house. We got handcuffs in here. We got a judge. We got the.
Is Courtney Morrison the judge?
No, well, actually, it could be. It could be 2 in 1. Because he kind of how to make it happen both ways. But we got a judge, we got a cop, and we got the prison. All right, so audience, behave yourselves.
All right.
We are going to be behaving ourselves. It's a pleasure to have you on tonight, gentlemen. And I know Lady is coming on. Lady Apostle Faith is coming on in just a moment. Tonight we're discussing to shack or to sign. That is the question. Cohabitation versus marriage. Which one is better? of course, we are advocating for marriage because we are there's proof of marriage right here in the mix. All right, I see 29 years and 27 years, and I'm the baby in the room. All right, I'm just gone
Hmm.
6 years. I'm the baby in the room, so I
And
look up
I'm
to
holding
all
my
of
peace.
you.
I'm holding my peace. I'm holding my peace. I'm
And
not
DJ
saying anything
Casey
yet.
is holding his peace over there. All right. Yes. So I want to hear from you, gentlemen. What is your take? I read some
My
interesting
sound is gone. I
statistics.
don't know if you're hearing me. I'm not hearing.
I'm I'm he- I'm
We
hearing
can
you,
hear you,
Rev. I'm hearing you, Reverend Morrison. I'm not sure if you're hearing us.
but I'm hearing you loud and clear from my end. Check your
But we're hearing you loud and clear. All right. I read some statistics. Yeah, check your audio. Let me hurry back to my statistics to be the basis of the conversation tonight.
Can you
So
hear
it
us,
says
Doctor?
in 1960, that was some time ago, there was what now? He can? Is he
Can you
still
hear us,
not hearing
Pastor
us?
Morrison?
All
Are you
right.
back? Are you back?
No?
I heard you. I'm hearing you now, but I wasn't hearing you before for the past couple of minutes.
Okay, we're hearing you as well, so that's good. I think we're back on track now.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yes, beautiful.
So happy you can hear us now. All right. All right. I was going back to my statistics. So it says uh, cohabitation, or as we call it, shacking up, has increased by more than 1,500% over the past half century. Now, it says in 1960, about 450,000 unmarried couples lived together. And of course, that has now increased to 7.5 million. So it has really skyrocketed over the years. Now I want to hear from you, gentlemen. What are some of the things that could contribute to persons shying away from marriages? I know that Reverend Wynne is a licensed marriage officer, and I know that Reverend Morrison works in that capacity as well. So, what are some of the reasons why persons are shying away from marriages, especially now?
Well,
Pastor Wynn.
Well, from my research and my understanding, there are several issues and several reasons why. But one of the most common reason is there's a shy of wanting to commit. People are afraid of commitment, and the research shows that the lack of wanting to commit is sometimes mostly on the male side.
Okay.
So there's a lot of female that is living in these shack-up relationship, living on promises. That we hear stuff like, "I'm thinking about it. I'm working on it. Very soon, or early enough." And early enough sometime move from 1 year, 2 year, 3 years, 4 years, sometime up to 20 years.
Wow. Yes.
Also,
wow.
also another thing is, and one of the things that when I counsel couple, there is this thing in our culture. People want to get married, but they don't have the money.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I always ask one question: what it is that you don't have the money to do? You don't have the money to get married, or you don't have the money to do a wedding?
Oh, okay.
Because
That's an interesting question.
the concept now is, for me, and I think it have a little to do with the African culture that we are linked to. Because, and I tell people, marriage is different from a wedding. Because to the extent that what our culture does, you got people even now in the pandemic where there's a limited number that I think is good. I think it's good. People are worried and they're upset and they're vexed because the number for wedding is down. And I'm saying to couple, make use of this. It's a good excuse not to have the crowd. But we have this concept that, like, for example, I talk to some Africans that I know, when they're having funeral or a wedding, I mean, they kill cows. And not to mention other time. And we think that for us to get married, we have to have this big stuff. And sometimes too, what the couple does, sometimes they put themselves in a large debt that after the wedding ceremony is done, somebody have some serious bills to pay.
Sure.
So one, because of the
I've seen that.
the big thing that we want to do, don't have the money to do, then we continue to shack up. Somebody says, well, I want to get married, but I'm saving some money.
I've read that a lot, quite a bit too. Yeah, saving.
Yes.
And then my question is always to the couple, what you saving money to do? Because see, you got to have 6 or 7 ushers with 6 or 7 bridesmaids. When I was getting married 29 years ago, Jackie and I, we called some friends and we wanted 3 ushers, 3 bridesmaids. Everybody tell us that they said, oh yeah, we'll come. But they sent us their shoe size, their dress size, and we were supposed to buy everybody's clothes. And I say, hell no.
No. That didn't happen.
And so 29 years, I'm not even talking about today, 29 years ago, we didn't use ushers, we didn't use bridesmaids. So the second reason for the shock up is one, afraid to commit or afraid to be committed to somebody, and 2, a lack of not doing it because we don't have the money to do the big thing.
Wow. Okay.
So I'm gonna stop right there for now. That's 2 of the main reasons.
Yes. I'm not gonna tell you how my bridal party was, but that's for another show. All right. Mr. Gale, let's hear from you. What are some of the reasons why you think that there is a decline in persons gravitating towards being married and moving to cohabitation?
The next phase.
Okay. What I find personally is that persons are not individuated. They don't know themselves sufficiently to make a decision to say, this is where I am going. So generally, they don't have a life plan to say, my life destination will have X, Y, and Z. And so they are just going. And the loudest sound that appealed to them, they said, okay, because when you are undecided, anything goes. So you don't know who you really are. And so somebody can just identify something in you and you just go along with that uncertainty. So I find that cohabiting happens because the person don't know who they are and they are willing just to gamble and to work with anything that anybody say. So they are just manipulated at some cases, and I find the second reason in addition to what I just said, it is where dysfunctionality meets dysfunctionality. So I generally say that shacking up is generally done because of an economic and a cultural dysfunctionality. It's just that, let me say, persons never go in a relationship that they believe they can be worse off. And the person who is better off never take the person who can supersede them in the status that they want. Suppose it is financial. They may say, well, I can get this person and I can use them to accomplish my ends, my means. So that's for the economic. So persons are generally focusing on the economics. And two, the cultural dysfunctionality. You may find that my mother or the person's mother and the mother and father and all their generations coming down have not been married. And so they say, well, as some come see, this is how I have come to see it. And because they have not, when you ask them, so why don't you make a difference? Well, that is how I saw it. Well, I don't know. I don't believe she qualifies. I don't believe certain things about her. What the person is saying straight up about and before the person is just that I don't fully really believe that you're qualified to be my wife, and I don't think you have the thing, but I can use you to accomplish what I want. You can come along with me on the journey. I can kick you off at any point. So you're qualified for here. You're good for this, but not for that. You are a victim. I'm the victor. I'm the it, and you are the not. And so things like these, and the person, because they're so dysfunctional in their thinking, they have no life's destination. They can't say, hello, this is not my standard. Versus marriage will say, this is my standard, this is my principle, and principle cannot be negotiated. Standards have to be honored. And so with that contrast, and when you come back to marriage, I'll get into that. And so what really happened, I'm saying that shacking up seeks to justify the causes, the why, the when, the how. And so you don't have to ask. When people are shacked up, they live their standards, and that is where they are, and they seek to justify it with a bag of loud noises and excuses and explanation. But hey, the truth needs no explanation. And so I'm saying that shacking up, that's why shacking up happens. But I'll wait until you come back. I get into the other part.
All right. Yes, I don't see Pastor Morrison. I see Dr. Faith. Welcome on the screen. Let's see.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Gale. I see Apostle Faith.
Yes.
Good night, Apostle. How are you? I hope you're doing well.
I'm doing
not quite sure how much of it you got. Not
Hello,
quite sure how
good
much you
night.
got.
I hope you're doing well.
Yes, not quite sure how much of it you got so far with the idea of shacking up and signing. So if you can just kind of share with us your perspective on that so far.
Wow. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for inviting me to the show. I'm glad to be able to come on at such short notice.
But you're here. All right. And thank you.
Yeah, I'm here. All right. I'm here. Glad to be here. I'm listening to Brother Bill, and he was talking about the shacking up piece. And he was saying it's connected to economics and also cultural norms and, and justifying their reasons as to why they do it. As when I look at society over time, I've looked at celebrities, and a lot of them have been doing it for a while. So after, I believe, in the 1990s, because everybody looking for celebrities, they look to them as examples. And I think when Oprah Winfrey began doing it, that's when a lot of people start opening up to the idea that it's possible. And also, I have, on the contrary, that's the world part. On the contrary, in the church, I've met some young people who came from married, their parents are married to this day, but yet they chose to shack up. That was a decision they made. So now they're having children. So idea, but they're feeling that this is the way to feel things out because they have seen so many divorces and they have a lot of ideas as to why they do what they do. And what's funny thing is, um, they feel, even some of them are Christian. They call some Christians, okay, and they shack up as well. So everybody just doing their own thing. It's a choice, and it's just a feel. It's just a feel. They're feeling each other out. Because I asked one couple one time, one young lady one time. I asked you, why do you live together opposed to getting married? Why do you stay together this long? And she said to me, well, we're staying here just in case somebody better comes along. That was kind of weird.
That was direct.
So they had the different, yes, why they stay. They're trying it out, trying to see if it will work, but they don't understand the detriment to you as a female, because females, we like stability. We like to feel that we are connected to this person. We don't want to be with somebody that's unsure whether he's going to be with me for the long haul or not. So that's how we're set up. We're emotionally connected. You know what I mean? So when these, so I remember one time I had a young man came to my church, and he was talking about he don't believe in the white man idea, of marriage, because you got to get a license, do this. I mean, he was talking all kind of things. He was with his baby mama for 8 years, and he figured this is it, and he's just doing what he's doing, So then he was just going on about, how he's such a good person and he's supportive of her and stuff like that. So the Holy Spirit just gave me a thought to share with him that it's better you marry her, because when you marry her, you are protecting her. Okay. And he got really offended by that. He did not like the fact that I said that. I said, well, that's the Holy Spirit told me that. You are protecting her because God forbid something happened to you right now. There's nothing for her to get. Okay. You are the main provider. You're the one supposed to protect her and be there for her. And by you not being married to her, okay, you're leaving her open for anything can happen. Okay. So he was highly offended by that. And he just left. He had nothing more to say because they're trying to say it's the white man's world. Why I got to follow this or why I got to follow that. But I said, what does God have to say? And another thing I say to young men, the Bible says, he that findeth a wife findeth a good thing and obtain favor from the Lord. Do you understand what favor is? A lot of them don't know what that is. I don't even read those scriptures. You know what I mean? So it's just so many things involved, but everybody just basically, because God give us choices. So we are basically doing our own thing. And because we are grown, we're not in our parents' house no more. Nobody can tell us what to do. Okay. So we going to make our own decisions and you can't tell them anything. Okay. Wow. So this is my take on it.
Pastor Morris.
I'm hoping you can all hear me. I seem to be having internet instability.
Reverend Morrison, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear him.
He's still trying to get connected.
I'm hearing you now, but I'm not sure if you are hearing
You can hear him?
Yes, I can hear him.
Let me see if I can state some things and
I can hear
you. If everyone else can hear me.
Can you hear him, Lady Misty? Can you hear him? Can you hear him from you and Lady Misty? Can you hear him now? I'll make sure we all can hear him.
I'm hearing DJ KTE.
No, I can't. No, I can't hear him.
All right, so let me. The producer says I'm to continue.
Okay, go ahead.
I want to state a number of
Reverend
things.
Morrison.
One, before I talk about the shacking up, because with the internet instability, I may have to leave shortly, and it may chip me out. That marriage is not overrated. It's understated in many ways as to its complexities, as to the ramifications of what marriage truly is. And what we tend to see being highlighted are many of the marriages that are crashing, and we are not hearing enough of those good, stable, wonderful marriages. Bad news
That's
seems
true.
to sell, good news seems to be
Mhm.
kept in the background. Let me say that firstly.
That's right.
And so I know of a lot of very good marriages. We don't hear much about them. And, the bad ones are highlighted. Shakespeare says it well, the good that men do are often turned in their bones, but the bad live on forever. And so that's something I'm very mindful of. Another thing that I'd like to state, apart from that marriage is not overrated, it's understated, is that marriage is to be bliss, yet it can cause blisters. Marriage is to be bliss, yet it can cause blisters. When two individuals of two different socioeconomic backgrounds, carrying their own baggages and their own demons, into a setting where they are to be one, there can be trouble. The idea of shacking up or trying to see if we will be married by living together tends to bring with it, though, a connotation of one that says there is still no real commitment to each other. This is just a trial run. And with that sort of perception, one may believe that shacking up works well, but we already know the biblical principle. I have a couple who, since the COVID has been, worldwide and become a pandemic, that they have been residing together, yet going through premarital counseling, and have found out and have said to me that they have found out that they know so much more about each other, and that this thing seems to be working better and helping us to get to the point of marriage. I am one of those who love to say marriage brings you into a field of exploration. If I know everything about you before I get married, then when I get married, then it can become a drag. Uh, Exploration, finding out, having new adventures together is very important in a successful, vibrant, energetic marriage. I believe that with all my heart. I really do. And so shacking up will take away many of the gifts that you are supposed to inherit in the process of marriage, as opposed to getting them before you're being rewarded before you actually enter into the covenant of marriage. You're getting the benefits of what exists in a marriage without having the commitment and making that solid commitment to do marriage. Thirdly, I want to state, apart from that, marriage is not overrated, it's understated, its complexities that can happen. Apart from stating also that marriage is to be bliss, yet it can cause blisters. The third thing that I would really love to talk about, apart from the fact that the persons who are shacking up doesn't see the commitment, is that if we can stop and really consider the vows that we make when we're talking about a marriage, and that marriage is a noble institution that God ordained. The institution itself is absolutely fantabulous. The persons coming into the institution and walking in it can mar the image or even allow the image to look good. But the institution of marriage of itself is God institution. It's the God institution, therefore it is altogether great, good, excellent. It is therefore incumbent on the individuals who have decided to become married to uphold that good name and that good institution. It's like almost any other institution. In the church you have good and you have bad. In the police force you have corrupted and you have those in almost every field. But the institution of itself is noble and God-given. Understated, sorry, because we don't do enough premarital counseling. And as a matter of fact, I dare say post-counseling, post-marital counseling.
That's important too.
Understated because
Yes,
persons tend to
that's
forget
important.
that
Yes.
when it says, yes, that when it says for better or worse, for richer or poorer, in sickness or in health, that it's not a multiple choice, that you tick one or the other. So when things get worse, we tend to get up and go. It is now an easy option to get up and go because others of note who we believe would have stuck to it and say, hey, marriage is a problem solving institution. That when I see a difficult situation, it is not for me to get up and run, but that I must see how best I can help in the partnership through God to get the marriage working. It's important. And that may take time. I was pointing out to someone today that many of us, even in looking in scriptures, we don't tend to see timelines. David is a man after God's own heart, and many persons think that after seeing how he repented, writing Psalm 51, that David's life was altogether good after that. Absolutely not true. When David was dying, when David was in his deathbed in First King, for them to find out if David was truly dead, they put a woman in David's bed. And when David did not go at her, they say, surely he is dead. In other words, even those around David were aware of his lifestyle to the point that they would do that. And the woman they put in the bed was not his wife. The institution of marriage. And I'm making the point that God still called him a man after his own heart. And so we have to understand that once then we are entering to marriage, once we have released ourselves from the perception that shacking up or living together will give me a better idea of what to expect, which is not necessarily true. Most persons who shack up will eventually continue shacking up. More than 80% will never enter marriage because they are avoiding the commitment yet getting the benefit. I remember there was a time we heard about friends with benefits, all the benefits of marriage without any commitment to each other, whether emotionally they would say, or, it doesn't add up, it doesn't work. And so marriage is understated, not overrated. Marriage is bliss, yet it can cause blisters. And marriage is a God-given institution that must never, ever be marred by those of us the covenant of marriage. Yet it does
Folks,
happen, and therefore we need to seek solution.
wow, folks! If you're listening to tonight, you're listening to LTR. That's Let's Talk Relationships, and tonight we're talking about shack or shine. We have some amazing folks tonight sharing so far, and there's so much more that we can talk about. But I do have some thoughts as I hear different individuals expound on the idea of the pros and cons of this shacking opposed to signing. But as I look, I'm here in New York, and I do observe a lot. I see what's going on in churches, outside of churches. It would appear as if there's a mental shift in terms of what it is to be committed or in a stable union. I think people have their own. We're in an age where people have their own idea. It's a me, I age, where I think folks are living just for the moment. It seems it's a momentary life now. It's not they don't see marriage like 10, 20 years. It sounds strange. When you hear folks say, I was married for 30 years and 40 years, it's like, really? Personally, I tell you, I've seen more sad marriages than happy marriages. And I've also seen more marriages that's hanging on, just forbearing, And so it seems as if, let me just take it day by day and just see what happens. How about that? How do you speak to that, Pastor Wayne? I think you might be muted.
One of the things that I looked on as people continue, as they said, shacking up, and they're looking, waiting to see, and most of the time, whatever they're looking forward to see, they just end up never seeing it. And I'm thinking, sitting down here thinking, and I'm looking on the negatives of shacking up, and then the question is there any positive to it? Is there any positive to shacking up? Because I've seen a lot.
Economically, how about that, Pastor? They save money. They're able to, they could be a child involved.
That's exactly where I'm going. When in my introduction, they said I'm a restorative justice facilitator. I work with the Ministry of Justice, and what we do, because of the backlog of some cases, we have it's a sort of a thing where they send certain simpler cases to us. And then we will hear, and we're not there to judge who is right and or wrong, but to come to an amicable solution. Most of the cases sometimes that we have is a situation where people living together for years and separation show up. But listen here, for the 15 years they're together and somebody decide I'm leaving, they both build a house together. They have a car. One of the cases I deal with, they bought a car together. And one person is saying, well, you got to sell the car and split the money. And the other person say, well, you can get the money, but I'm not ready for the car to sell yet.
Wow.
And sometimes when you look at these folk that stay together for many years and they're working and they're saving and they're building. I have a situation to deal with where we have to send it back to the court and it's sort of a mediation situation, but we could not get a settlement because it ended up physically where these two persons, they lease a piece of property and they were farming together, planting vegetables.
Oh, wow. Oh, man. They went in deep, Pastor.
And now they were separating because one of who was shocking meets somebody else and want to leave the relationship. They want to leave this relationship to go into another one, but they don't want to leave the property.
Wow.
And so one person saying, well, you gonna leave. I'm not going to stay with you on this farm while you living with her. And sometimes they think it's working out economically or financially, but the moment down the road, one stuff happened, then whatever they did for 20 years, it's gone. Wow. And it reached the court. It caused death.
Wow. I think I see.
Those of us here who saw the news last night about the murder in Trelawney, a man who is close to 70 years old.
70 years old.
He killed his 29-year-old lover.
Oh, wow.
And he's been with her, and I can't understand why somebody allowed that to happen. He's been with her from she was 13.
Oh, my goodness.
16 years later, he's up in his 70s. She wanted to get out. He chopped her to death.
Wow.
And in this relationship, it is shocking because there's nothing called marriage in that. Because I don't care what you say and how much you describe, how much you love. You are 29. You're not going to walk down the aisles with somebody who is 70. Don't fool yourself.
Wow.
So I'm here thinking, where is the positive? Where is the benefits in shacking up?
I think I see Dr. Faith raise her hands. I thought I saw it. You want to chime in there, Dr. Faith? I thought I saw your hand just now. Yeah, Dr. Faith? I thought
he is right about a lot of the things. Can you hear me? He's right about that. There's nothing in it, but they all think so. But a lot of them, because I said that they don't see any examples and they see anything solid in relationships. So that's why they choose to do this, and they think it's sound good, but I don't think a lot of them go into it really thinking about the big picture. You know, they don't think about it like they just think about it as, you know, the here and the now. Okay, so at least I have somebody here to share half the rent, you know, to split everything down the middle. I remember, I don't know if you remember, there was a Judge Judy.
Mm-hmm.
They would come into her courtroom many times, and she always advised them, tell them that it is not a good thing to do to shack up, because what happens is every time they buy property or whatever they have to put it into, and it's yours and mine. It's not ours. Okay, so and then it becomes a problem. It's a lot. It becomes a problem in the courts. As I said, it becomes a serious problem. You know, and it's very hard to really decipher through that situation. And what I don't understand with young ladies before they do these things, they don't do their homework. They don't look at the positive and the pros and cons about living with somebody. It's all about economics, or I'll have somebody, at least let me try it out. Maybe if I like it, I will continue. And yet they marry and they stay together for 10, 20. When I'm doing my courses, I had one of my classmates, she didn't know her parents were not married. They were together for 40 plus years.
And weren't married.
And they were adults.
Wow.
They were
Wow.
adults. And she was so shocked when they found out that their parents were not married all these years.
Oh my goodness.
And it really did something to her. You know, so out of all the family members, only one, her sibling is married. It affected all of the family. Okay, to find out that their parents were lying to them all these years. You know, and it's detrimental. You know, and so, you know, a lot of us, we don't think about the things that we're doing when we're doing it, because, you know, this stacking up business was way 50 years ago. People were doing it, but we didn't pay attention. You know, and another thing too is what I found out: the heterosexual don't think marriage is important. Talk about marriage, but the homosexual see the importance in it. That's why they were fighting to make sure it become legal for them. And I'm like, wow, God.
That's interesting.
They see the benefits. Yeah, they saw the benefits in it. Somebody pointed that out to me some time ago. I said, you know what? That makes a lot of sense. Because they realized when they were living together, and if one of their partner dies, everything goes to their family. You know, so it's like, wait, this person with me all this time now, and my family shunned me because out of the closet. So you know, I'm gonna find a way now. We're gonna fight. We're gonna get a law to support us. So that's why they got married. A lot of people didn't realize that. They saw the benefits in marriage, because now their property, whatever they get accumulated together, is able to split, or is given to the one that's remaining, that's left behind. So it's not going to the family who didn't want it, you know. So what I was saying is, a lot of females, you know, before I got into my first marriage, I did my homework. I looked at some things. I read some things on my own, you know, because I wasn't told anything, so I had a little knowledge about certain things, you know. And I said, if a lot of young women take the time to read, because the laws of the country, they still support marriage. So it doesn't matter how many people want to shack up or what they want to do. The laws, of course, they still support marriage. And I was looking at all the different states. Majority of all the 50 states in the States still whole marriage. And if you further into it and research it, if you're married to someone 10 years or more, if that person should pass on for some reason, okay, back a little bit. If you're divorced from that person, that happens, the marriage don't work, divorce the person, you're married a year, okay, you can get half of that person's Social Security, even if that person remarried.
Wow.
Okay, people don't know that. Another thing too is,
but Dr. Faith, there is something. There is something that is in the law, and probably Mr. Gale can help me because he has been working in law enforcement for a while. I know there is a law in Jamaica, I'm not sure if it still exists, that relates to common law. That would be shacking up. So when you're living together with a partner for a number of years,
is it 3 years or more?
you are entitled. It's 3 years or more. You're entitled to half of or a portion of what they have.
Yes,
so
it's
there are
5 years now.
Oh, it's 5 years.
Oh, it's 5 years.
It's 5 years now.
Yes.
They're entitled to about 50%.
50%. Wow.
For Jamaica, up to 50%, and the fight is generally terrible. So the law is has just been amended a few years ago to accommodate that.
So let me ask a question, if you don't mind.
You said 5 years?
5 years.
5 years or more, yes. So question, if you don't mind me asking, Mr. Gale, as a psychologist, it seems that men have the idea that they're going to lose much more, I guess, based on the law. Why is that? There seems to be a thing where men facilitate. I'm not getting married because the law's going to be my loss. I'm not sure if you men, Pastor Morris or Pastor Wayne, feel the same way as for what you're hearing from men. So they shy away from that. Man, the system will beat me down. The law's going to beat me down. So let me stay safe and not go there. Are you speak to that, Mr. Gale?
Yes, we find that. Well, we found that men use the power to get the woman to come to live at their pace. They have a fear of commitment. And so they do whatever. They play the victor's game, and they may invite the female who may live 5, 10, 20, 30 years with them. And then when they think time is enough, they may say she has to go. And in saying she has to go, now she said, but I've invested so much of myself, my time, my property, my best self, and now you're disposing of me. So it generally the fight is generally bitter. And so the law, understandably, has made provision. But we hardly find here in Jamaica that the men predominantly go to live with the women. It is the women who generally go to live with the men at their premises, at their family's premises. And while I'm on, I just wanted to compliment what Dr. Faith was saying, but I won't go into details. There's so many additional benefits when persons are married. The women who are more emotionally connected, they are more liberated to just give everything, because marriage is a statement of certainty, it's a statement of confidence, and it helps person to realize their life's plan, especially the man. The man would say, all right, I'm getting married. It is a statement of confidence. It's a statement that I am going a particular direction and I'm looking for my life's mate. I want company to go with me. And so premarital counseling will speak to complementarity. And in dealing with that, person will say, I have identified the right person to go with me on this journey to the social, the mental, the physical, and the emotional destination. So they look way ahead instead of just looking on the present. And premarital counseling will take you through is this person kind? Is this person patient? not puffed up, not selfish, not afraid. And investment is never partial. If you're investing in a company, it's not okay. I'm gonna invest $1 million. I'm gonna half invest or whatever. It's either or not. And when you go in with a marriage, you cannot lose because you everything is going in a certain direction, and you are going to feed that marriage. And I just want to jump to the Jews. The Jews, they married, and when you get married, I mean, your investments multiply, and there's no you won't lose because financially you're making it, socially, physically, the children are so much more confident. Your focus is not on in uncertainty. You are just going to achieve your life's goal, and you are committed, and you live a committed, free, unapologetic life because you have full authority. And so I hasten to repeat that marriage is not overrated, but it is not spoken of because truth needs no proof, but the loud noise is generally surrounded around shocking up to justify. So,
wow.
Yes. Back over to you.
And the question, Lady Misty, coming in. Any questions for guests?
Can I make a quick point here?
Go ahead.
Yes.
Go ahead, Reverend. Go ahead, Reverend.
You know, marriages have their ups and downs, and yes, the figures might be up there about divorce, but you know what? When you talk to people shacking up, and they will say things like, "Well, I don't see anything working in marriages." Let me tell you, people see what they want.
True.
People see what they want to support what they do. I don't care what you're going to tell me. All right. Right here in Senton, let's say whatever the divorce rate is. It's a rate. So even if the divorce rate is 60, hey, look under 40.
Yeah.
Some good marriages are in there. But when people say that, oh, I don't see anything going on in marriage, you see what you want to see.
That's right.
But there are some marriages that are working.
Yes.
No benefits.
Wow.
With good benefits too.
True.
Yeah.
With good benefits. Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Any questions?
I see YouTube over there. They're just having a ball over there. I see a comment from Mikkel. Good night, Mikkel. Mikkel is saying, I think fear of loss of possessions is a reason why Jamaican males, especially the wealthy ones, don't want to get married. Generally, there is a fear that women will change negatively. And I've heard this comment. You know, I've spoke to men who don't want to get married. They don't want to get married, and they say everything is fine now with my relationship, and I don't want the women to change when they get married because usually, as soon as they put on the ring, they change.
Y'all change, huh? Is that what happened?
Yes.
Y'all changing us?
you change, and so that fear of not changing. I don't want what is happening now to change because once I get married, things will change, and then you will change on me.
But Lady Misty, Lady Misty, in all fairness, Lady Misty, right? Now, it is said that a lot of women, of course, they say that they're more emotional, right? And they need more emotional, and then they need to feel more secure. Now, a lot of men who may have had the money and have done well don't have the time to give her that emotional support that they probably would have liked to or loved to. So now we know it's just an emotional-based society. That when he brings on the bacon, the bread, he said, I want more, honey. I want more. I want your time, your love, your attention. And so therefore, she said, if you got money, if I go, I still got money anyway because I get half of what you have. So what do I really need you for? Because I may get the money, which is nice, but with emotional support. and the time I need you to be around because the culture is pushing that time to spend together,
Right.
time. So, Pastor Morris, please help me with that thought there. Just kind of give me some light on that thought there. I'm hearing that, in my community here quite a bit.
Mm-hmm. And I'm hearing the fear of men too. I'm hearing the fear that men have as well. That I don't want you to change, and I'm afraid that if I marry you, or once you get the ring, there's going to be something else. It's going to be a different atmosphere. And my question is always, why would I change? I'm living with you for 15 years. What is going to change? But they're saying there's something that always happens. There's always a change that might happen, because once they get the ring, there is something else that comes up, and so I don't want to be in that kind of space. I like it right now. It's comfortable, and I don't want that kind
It's a
of
real fear,
restriction.
yeah. It's real fear that
Yes.
Miss is talking about. It's a real fear.
Lady Misty,
Yes, Apostle.
what they
Yes,
don't
Apostle. I'm
realize,
hearing you.
what they don't realize is once you begin having sex, it changes whole dynamics of the relationship. Okay. First of all, you don't really know the person. Okay, you got some people that date, they go with somebody one day, and next thing you know, they're in the bed. Okay. Then next thing you know, oh, I kind of like you now, so let's live together. They didn't get to know each other. So of course you're gonna have all those different dynamics happen at the same time, because you done went to the physical before you got a chance to really get to know this person that you're gonna be living the rest of your life with. Okay, they don't understand the dynamics of that. Okay, and like everybody we've been saying, women are emotional. We need stability. We need somebody to be there to listen to us. And if you're not my husband, okay, it's going to be kind of hard to having to listen to what you are saying, because what's she bothering me for? I want to do this. You know what I'm saying? So they want to do that because there's no commitment. So because there's no commitment, they ain't really got to do nothing. You know? So if the commitment was there, then it'd be a little bit more, and it'd be more responsible, it'd be more inclined to listen and to cater to her needs. So a lot of that is missing, okay, from the onset. So had they gotten a time to know each other before they get into that physical process and going into moving into the, going to the moving in together, that's where the problem began. So as I shared also, that when people live together for 10, 20 years, the divorce rate for that, as I'm looking at my statistics, is higher.
Wow.
When you act like a wife and you're not a wife, and you decide you're going to get married within a year or so, you're divorced, because a lot of times the dynamics of the relationship changes, because now, as I've shared, you are now responsible. The man is now responsible for this woman. So I've been living with her for 10 years. I'm doing my thing. Now I put the ring on. So now I'm responsible. So now everything changes. So I don't know why those men are so are thinking that it's going to change, because now you are committed to this now. Now we're together, we're one. Before we were living together, but we're two separate people. Now we're married, so now we're one. So everything is different. So that's
the common thread is so based on what I'm hearing, the common thread is fear. That's what I'm hearing.
Yes.
Right?
And shocking.
All right.
You're gonna be afraid. You're gonna be afraid. It's gonna sleep in there. It's gonna happen.
All right. I want to go to some comments,
and folks,
because I know
we can't deny the process of getting a divorce. It can be painful. It can be costly. It can be really, really stressful for those who have to go to the court system. So that's another factor that a lot of people want to evade or want to avoid. In other words.
All right. I'm just going to be reading some of the comments that have been coming in. Let me see. Mikkel continues by saying that some men also think marriage is restriction. All right. Coach Raquel is asking, what about the kids?
If they're kids, right? Yes. That's a big one.
If there are kids involved,
they're having children. Yeah, they're having children.
right? Yes.
They're having children.
There is a statement here from Marsha J that says, here are my thoughts though. Outside of it being one of the practices of your faith, that aside, the reality is the agreement, biblical principles embedded within marriage itself, including vows, offers. What does it really offer? And I saw a question. Let me see if I can go back to it. Let me see. Oh, here's a statement that I found interesting as well from Travel Escapades that says, to be honest, I don't think I truly understand what marriage really entails. I see a lot of weddings, but not so many exemplary representation of healthy, successful partnerships. Wow.
That's powerful. That's deep.
Yes, that's really a powerful statement, and that's one of the reasons too why I believe that some people, some men, some couples, they shy away from even being married. And I heard Pastor Win saying that yes, marriage is work, and we believe that, we are testimony that marriage is work. But there are some couples that say there's nothing, the same thing that you're over there doing, we are over here doing. We don't need a ring to show love. We don't need a ring to show commitment. We don't need a ring. We are doing this and we are doing just fine.
And it's a very, very wide thinking. It's a very, very phenomenal.
Yes.
I'm sorry,
Yes.
wrong word here. But it's a very common thing.
And I know we have been talking about the men and all of that, but I want to talk. I want to shift gears a little bit to the women. Women enter these relationships, and for the majority of it, for the hope. I am hoping there's a holding on because most women, that's their plan. You're going to grow up, you're going to become a teenager, you're going to meet this man, you're going to get married, you're going to have children, you're going to that's really the line of how we grow up and our thinking. So I go into this marriage with this cohabitation with this, yes, and I embed myself in this relationship with the expectation, with the hope. And there are women who really believe in next year we're gonna do this.
And some have. Some actually did it.
Next year we're gonna do this. Next year, and the next year continues.
All right, we
yes. So what are your thoughts on that?
Go ahead. I believe women are deeper emotional beings. They embody their emotions, and so. Let me touch shacking up. Shacking up is basically investment primarily in the emotional aspect of the woman, but the woman is more comprehensive. She wants to be, as the Bible says, a helpmeet. And a helpmeet would be helping the man to achieve his goal, at helping the man or helping the partnership to achieve its ultimate end. And if she can't, if she's just there for one purpose, she feels useless. And I dare say that women are incubators, as one person said. You give them a thought and they make it a whole
story.
A whole story. I mean, it has so many facets to it, and so they multiply whatever you are doing. But so this full complement, this help meet. If a woman don't know what the man is working on, when in a marriage which speaks about the help meet, she is comprehensively, provided for, not just as a prong. Whereas the the shacking up just establish a future on one prong instead of the emotional, the social, the spiritual, the physical, and a balanced, focused, strong relationship. The woman wants that, and it is a reasonable ask. And not only a reasonable ask, that is where God's blessings is. That is where God's ordaining is. Or we have to look at the thing that why, though the shacking up may keep talking about, it's just the same. Anything God has, the devil has a counterfeit. But God promises there is a blessing if you follow with him. And there's a peace of mind. There's always a higher level, higher living, higher ideals. And he will partner with you because it's a covenant. The closer you get to each other, not just one prong emotionally, but spiritually, socially, you lock in everything. And so you start, the more you go up the triangle, go close up to the apex, you'll find that you get closer to God. And once you get closer to God, where the emotional thing where the men may say, boy, is my money you're after? You're after my money. It is telling the woman that you are not important as my money. The only thing important in this for me is the money. And so when I get married, it's moving from the emotional where I'm maintaining the emotional, but you're going to come into my social space, my physical space, my financial space, my freedom space, and so it is a selfish act to argue for shacking up versus emotionality. Is just that there's no limit to growth and development, for comprehensive growth and development in a godly way, in a godly system, in a happy system. And that is where true happiness is, because happiness does not cohabit with fear, uncertainty. It is just a full investment of your everything, and everything with God is a great progressive path.
Amen to that. Reverend Wynne or Apostle, you want to jump in? Any one of you?
I want to make mention of that word. And as you make mention of the woman, there's something that we need to do. And one of the things that I am doing now, counseling young people or people getting married, I'm saying to the woman, listen, let's get this clear. What is the meaning of this word, help meet? I think we need to explain it. And I'm saying to women, hey, the word help meet does not mean a helper. We need to get that clear. Listen, the word help meet means a help that is suitable for.
Okay.
No, watch this. If I want to move this chair, I can't. So I need help. It does not mean that if I get help, when the help come, I stand aside and watch the help do it.
Right.
And so what we need to change is the society over the years. We have make our women going into these marriages, into these relationships, being a helper.
Right. Should be a help meet. Right.
I said to a young man a couple of years ago, come in my office, wanted to get married, and the young lady wanted to serve God, and he said, okay, all right, I'll marry you. And, you were talking about, and he said, well, Pastor, she said, she's not going to marry me like that. And I said, well, why did she say that? And he said to me, but Pastor, if she don't get married, who is going to wash my clothes? Who is going to cook my food? I said to him, you need a domestic helper. You don't need a wife. And see,
that's another mindset.
This we have to change. And so the women go into these relationships, end up being an helper.
That's right.
And as soon as the man get her in there, he stopped doing everything, because guess what? His mother used to do it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Come on. Listen. Y'all leave me alone. His mother used to do it. So now his mother said, you got to go on your own. He get a woman.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
so now she
replace your mom, huh?
She
replace his mom.
Yes.
She clean, and she's there hoping. Here we got the word again. Hoping. And then he tell her he used this strategy to get her in there. And girl, you know, I love you, so I'm gonna marry you too. She consented with the hope. 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 years. She been helping. And end up being mother of 3, 4. And you know what happened? After a few years, he ready to get married, and he's not getting married to her either.
Or I may have a chick on the side.
So we got to, and I'm telling the sisters in the church, I don't care if he preach, I don't care if he speak in tongues.
Yeah, don't fall for the okie
Let's
dokie.
get the reality of why you're going in this.
Yeah.
Because we're talking
That's
about,
true.
I'm talking about accountability, compatibility, somebody who, you know, I can partner with.
Yes, that's right.
Pastor, you know what? You know, you said some really powerful, man, goodness. You know, we winding down close to the end of this segment here, but I'm gonna say this real quick that when I look at marriage, and I believe that it was divinely instituted by God, and it bears the image of God in so many different ways. And I personally believe that there is an attack on that image. Anything that looks like God, as much as go with the pan and the shim and the him and the cross this and the cross that, and the the different polyism and illism, what does anything that looks different from that image. And I like how you put it, where when two people come together and they find that oneness, that sense of help meet, we can meet each other where we are for a one common cause, for the destiny, for the future of that union. Man, I see why there's such an attack on healthy marriages with men and women come together and be really showing God's light into the world. But then again, folks, there's so much to say. Lady Misty,
there's a question that I want us to address. I saw it earlier. Let me see if I can find it. And it speaks to a woman, as we are talking about women. There's a question asking, what if there's a woman who can't find can't find a husband, or what do you? But they have a partner that there it is. Okay, so what would you say to a woman in her formative years who cannot see that husband coming, but she has a partner who desire living together without marriage? In a real life kind of situation.
That's a whole nother book right there, Lady Misty.
Yeah, so you have a partner. So I am going up in age right now, and I cannot find a husband, but there is a man in my life who has been there for a while, right? And we are good at living together. What are you? What do you say to a woman like this?
I would want to ask her a question. The question I want to ask her, what does she mean? She can't see a husband in a man that is her partner. What? Because see, husband, wife, those two words speaks of partnership. It does not speak to perfection. No, they don't. But they speaks to partnership.
Right.
It speaks to working together. And if you're up in your quote unquote formative years with a man who make you to reach your formative years, and yet you don't see a husband in him, your motive is different. And I probably apologize if I'm wrong. I got to check your motive, honey.
Wow. Check it. Give it a check.
I'm sorry. I hope you don't mind. I'd like to call in. Can I call in for this guest? I think I love and my name is DJ Kelly.
Hi, DJ Kelly. Good
I'm getting
night.
a lot of text messages on my phone while I'm speaking to you, while I'm listening to the thing and putting the thing.
All
But
right.
this is what happens sometimes, and I've heard persons say it oftentimes. We discuss on the show, and I feel it goes over some people's heads. I've worked with the Sexual Health Authority in Jamaica for 5 years. And there's some real situations sometimes, as well as I'm saying, I'm getting messages where persons are really not, we hear where you are, but do we get where they are? Because I think sometimes it's unearthing the trauma and the pain and the connecting with persons to help them understand you deserve better. I am 40 years old and I've been criticized. How come you're not married? Da, 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 da. Because I will not settle. I simply will not settle because I love me too much. But maybe that's because my father have already loved me so much that I love myself. So I know I deserve better. But even me, where I'm at sometimes interacting with men who I look on and I'm thinking, this is a good man. But when I see his interaction with me and I see how hard I have to fight with him to be heard, yes, to be catered to, for him to uphold his agreements, even I am thinking, man, are they out there? So I'm asking this question for persons who are not where we are and cannot see where we are. And if they just can't see it, they can't see it. So I don't know if there's a way for us to design our conversation for the real woman. I've had a friend who said to me, Raquel, I wanted sex so badly that I slept with a man that I couldn't even stand him. But I felt like I needed someone. I've been at a place where I feel like I need somebody to hug me so hard. And I just have to, it's just my dad and loving myself and knowing God differently that helped me. Just a hug. I'm not even talking sex because I'm good without it. I've been celibate most of my life, so I'm used to that. But sometimes just that hug. Where are the men? Where are the women for those who need it? How do you turn this conversation to the woman who has 3 children tugging at her, and this man who she feels powerless to convert to marriage, but she doesn't know what to do, and respect her still, even in the conversation, understanding that this is where she is. Am I making sense?
Oh, yes.
Not everyone is strong in mind. Not everyone is strong in mind. Not everyone has a family. Not everyone has people to turn to say, get up. You know, like, if we could just talk to that woman for a moment before we go, I'd appreciate it, because there's a real life happening out here.
For some reason, as I hear DJ Kelly, I'm hearing a part 2. I'm always hearing that based on what she said a while ago. Go ahead, Pastor Gail.
I hear her passion, DJ Kelly. I hear your passion. I hear your emotions, everything coming through. But yes, there are many women who are feeling exactly what you say. And this is where I start the conversation with you, right on the spot, is to say to you, all those conversations have been happening and you desire to have them out of your head. I would say get a third party. I nearly would say an informed third party and say, I mean, gentlemen, let us just have a conversation, bringing him suddenly or otherwise or by range, and to say, let us start the discussion to find out the qualification. And once that woman with those 3 children, once that single woman who has a man of interest in mind, to say, all right, but since you're not broaching the marriage question, let us start the conversation. What is it about me? Where I need to go? Where are we going? How can you meet my needs? How can I meet your needs? Because it's not just about marriage only. It is about understanding the foundation of each other. And then the informed person, like a counselor, like a pastor, will ask some questions. What are the similarity? Why is it Can he be married to your, can he fulfill your emotional demands? Can he fit your social demands and the other prongs of it? And once you know those questions, oh yes he can, yes he can, yes he can, then he realized that, oh, I qualify. But when he confronts those important questions and he realized that, I don't, and she realized that, oh, he doesn't, then the discussion can end right there, and she rests in peace. I know why he couldn't commit. He just did not qualify. Because the things that I was looking for is not there. And it would be unreasonable to ask him to supply what he doesn't have. When we do, and we could do quickly the love language tests, and you find that the person who you intend to marry or you was looking at, take for example, your love needs, your love language could be words of affirmation. He cannot supply words of affirmation, because if he just tell you that, darling, that was awesome, that was wonderful, but he just come in, takes his shirt, put it on, eat the food, go to his bed, and what, he's never acknowledged you, and you realize that he will never, maybe he can learn to do that, or some of them, they just can't learn, and so that's the only thing you have that he could satisfy, the only thing you need. But he's not interested, he doesn't care, he will not do it, and then you realize that, okay, I need not have a quarrel with you, I will make a decision. And happiness, progress, and love is based upon information and a subsequent decision.
Great point.
Thank you. And it is my hope. Is there an echo? It is my hope that for those women who are listening, they take I like the last part that you said, information, because it has to be difficult. I don't have kids, but it must be difficult to even contemplate. I remember I was told my mother left when I was 1. And I remember when I asked her, why did you leave? She said to me, because we were suffering. And I remember I said to her, so if we were suffering, how did you leave me? And she slapped me across my face. And ever since that happened, I really been sitting down thinking about my mother. And even now, like, I think about her a lot. And I realized that she was an unloved woman, a woman that was searching for love. And right now, I wish I could just love her. Like, I love her more than I've ever loved her. I pray all the time, like, God, please love her. Could you love her? I'm saying that to say, because I've seen it, right? Because sometimes they don't even know how to come to a place of, this isn't working for me. It can't get worse. Let me try to leave. It's really happening. It's really actually happening, where women are saying, I know I'm supposed to leave. I know this isn't kind to me. I know this isn't healthy for me. But how do I move? And to that woman, I say, man, it came to my mind to say, find a sister, but sometimes us sisters don't like each other either. And so this is what I'd say, go down on your knees and really truly talk to God. Just strip everything. Just strip everything and say, God, here I am. And don't ask him, tell him what you need him to do. Like, tell him.
Yes.
When I was 8, I told God what I wanted him to do, and I've been telling him ever since, right? So, woman, if you're listening to me and you don't know what to do anything you think is best. Because there's some women who are under some things, some terrible manhandlers. Yes, and we can talk about the go to counseling. Some of them won't go. I've seen it with my own eyes. I've seen it. I've held women's hands saying, let's move. She's terrified. She's too petrified to even think of moving. What am I going to do? I say to you, woman, you can move and trust God that he will. Because sometimes we have to go through the pain. We have to go through the gutter to get to where he's trying to get us to go. So no matter how scared you are, bless my mother for leaving me. She had to run. Leave me if you have to. God took care of me. I'm not saying a woman should leave her children, but I'm saying save yourself. Like if you have to do whatever you have to do, but love you the hardest. That's what I'd like to say. And I'm sorry for invading you. I had to say it because I had to say it.
But do you know also the sad reality is that some of those women that you are reaching out to right now, it is not that they don't know what to do. The sad reality is they know what to do and they're scared. No. They're scared to do it because of what's going on in our nation.
True.
Women are being killed because they want to walk away. And
absolutely.
So, as you said, you mentioned a while ago that the responsibility is on some of us. In order to reach those women, we have to try to reach the men involved.
Yes, that's true.
Because we got to be careful. We got to be careful how we reach her.
It's true. And empower her without empowering him. It's so true.
Sometimes we reach her and make it worse for her too.
Absolutely. Yes. That is true. I've seen it happen.
It's a critical situation.
It is.
Where somebody said to me the other day, Pastor Phil, thank you. Because you know what? She told me, she says she's having a problem. She said, Pastor, don't even think about go to him because him dark and ignorant and this. But I reach him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I have to brace myself. My first time I reached to him, he cussed me out. I mean, bad words too.
Mm-hmm.
But the second time, I braced myself.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And then the second time, he said, "You really come back? You got 5 minutes."
Mm-mm.
Yes.
Wow. The third time I went back, him said, "Boss, you really serious? Not true?
Mm-hmm.
Make we chat."
Yes.
Wow.
But see, there are other things that we could have done, but it might be dangerous or difficult on her side. And especially now, we know, sister, and we feel you, that there are some hurting sisters.
Absolutely.
Most of them, they really know what to do, and they're scared to do it.
Absolutely true.
The sad reality is, I don't know where this bunch of men come from.
I'm telling you. And it's not just those men who we think are doing it. It's the men who we look up to. It's the men who I don't even think sometimes.
No. It's the men you don't think we're going to do it.
Exactly. It's the ones you're not thinking that, oh no, it's not him. I've even heard letters on this show that has had me in prayer. I mean, that has had me in pain. Letters on this show. Right. So that's why I felt like I could not come on and say something because it is this serious, because that's why I do this. And I don't know what can be done, but I think there needs to be a deculturing, if there's such a term, and a reculturing of our men, because I've had men say to me, I correct him too much. I've had men, I mean, when you really, and I'm talking good men, I've had men talk to me and I feel pain, literal pain, and I'm a strong woman, okay? And I will stand in your face and tell you what I think. So just imagine, I've had nightmares about my sister in relationships because of the fights and the quarrels. There's some real things happening in relationships. And I don't know that we have actually been taught how to work together, how to partner, how to collaborate, because it takes those kinds of dynamics to learn how to work in a marriage. A marriage is a group, and we're not all taught group dynamics, right? So it's working together. It's understanding the value and the purpose of a woman to as he said, help meet, not help her. So I'm hoping that even in this room, and I love men. I believe men were designed to be powerful, and I support men. But I also have to say, boy, men have got to learn the value of a woman, and vice versa, Thank you for
this segment
I just want
here.
to say, okay,
just quickly, make a last point, Mr. Gale.
Yes. I just want to say that possibly in one of the methods I've used to reach some of these men, and I've found some ugly situation where our women are really suffering. So I generally reach them through their boys. When I do my boys to men counseling, as I said earlier, that dysfunctionality normally founds dysfunctionality. So when on the corners, you will find, so for example, if I go to a strange community and I want rum at a funeral, all rummers find a way to connect, and you don't know how to find, how you don't know how they do it.
That's true. That's
For
true.
drug addicts just land at a place and you say, but how did they find the drugs? Just like thieves, I find that fatherless boys check any one of our street football corners. You find a set of boys who are playing football. Take my word that up to 95% of them are fatherless. Their dysfunctionalities find their likeness in their dysfunctionalities. They have some things in common. Just like in school, those who are not doing well in their grades find a connection. And you said, how could they found each other on the first day of school? I'm making the point to say, I go through to families with questions. So I may find a boy who is really who really needs some help. You see the fear, you see this honesty, you see the uncertainty in him, and you see it in his eyes, and you say to him, you ask him, I go through the question like, how is your father? What is the one thing you've learned from your father? And if you ask him, if he stands up to take cheerful question without getting aggressive, but you have to know how to reach the heart. Once you ask them those questions, they just melt because they want a father. They want love. A boy 13 and up, he wants a man to show him how, and because he has so much uncertainty, he gets aggressive. And so sometime when I end up in the home, or I may learn of somebody who is abusive to the woman, and the woman is living in fear, I may ask her discreetly, can I talk to him? I will ask him, are you happy? Or I'll ask her, are you happy? What makes you happy? I'll ask the man, why are you afraid? Are you happy? Is your children happy? Who are you making happy? What is the worst thing that can happen to you? And he would and some things they never think about. I said, what if you lose your wife or your woman? How will you manage? If you lose your woman to death, or if she dies, how will you manage? Where will you get another woman? Or what will your wife say or your woman say about you? What if I show you a way to be happier? And he would, huh? And then I said, he said, no, boss, talk to me. How can you? And once you start asking the other question, tell me about your father, they generally break down and they cannot go because there's something that they wanted to talk about, but they don't know how to talk about it. Because men who don't grow with their fathers carry around a suffering that they pass on to their sons, that they pass on to their daughters, who pick the same person like themselves, because daughters find men like themselves and they norm it. And so our society is being normed into a normlessness. But the right questions need to be asked, the right confrontations, and the right just peaceful intervention. And it can even be done by telephone, anonymous, and everything is locked. you will find answers. But I've had some real breakthroughs, and starting with the questions.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, we are way over time. There's so many awesome things that were said. I mean, I'm sure if the producers see fit, they could probably have you guys back again, because I'm hearing so much more that could be said, and so much nuggets that need to be shared. LTR is really about having a conversation, and although we can reach back and try to resolve some of those old relationships, those who are broken down, and maybe look for some restoration, we also want to look ahead, and for those who are looking into this thing, to open their eyes, open their minds, and become wise, and realize that information and the right information is important, so you won't get stuck or get in these situations that so many people are living in. So a big part of what we do here on Let's Talk Relationships is have the discussions. So we know we have young listeners here, young viewers. You are now at an advantage because you're hearing these important things as you move ahead into your life, into adulthood, and say, what kind of man I'm going to choose? Who am I going to be? How am I going to approach life? And don't perpetuate the same thing that we see happen in the past. We thank all the guests. We thank all the viewers and all the different platforms. Lady Misty, you're the best. Always my ride or die.
My pleasure.
Yes, Dr. Faith, thank you for being here. Last minute, we really appreciate you so much. Mr. Gale, brilliant. I love what you say. Pastor, listen, we need it back again, Pastor. We do. You're about to get me shouting in here, Pastor. But I love it. And thank you guys for just making this a great night.
It was good to be with you.
Yes, God bless you all. And again, let me say the last word before we close out.
Yes, before we go, I just want to shout out Dr. Faith. I know you have a great event coming up. Your community connection. I pray God's richest blessings on that as you reach out to both young and old, as you change lives in your community. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. For those who were on the LTR tribe over there on YouTube. Thank you so much.
Big up.
Yes, if we were unable to read your comments, or all those things you put there, don't be sad. Don't be sad. All right, and please come back again, and I'm sure we will read them. If you have any advice, please don't forget to reach out to us at ltranswers@gmail.com. That's ltranswers@gmail.com. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Have yourselves a great night and a great rest of the week. You're listening to Yumi Radio. Let's talk relationships. Good night, everybody.
Good night, y'all. God bless.